Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I want to be giving my thoughts on Conception, episodes 11 and 12, the final two episodes of the series. So this episode opens up basically mid love ritual with Alfie and Itsuki, with just Mana rambling on about something. And then we go and check out, sort of, now that we've got the 13th Star Child, we get a look at all the Star Children interacting, talking to each other. And then Alfie just sort of almost faints. She gets weak and falls, and Itsuki puts her to sleep, and then he goes out. And we're in the middle of a Christmas event in Granvania, but it's not actually Christmas. It's Christmas-like, but Itsuki just calls it Christmas the whole time, and everyone just sort of acknowledges that. So we don't know what this day is called, but apparently Christmas is good enough. So Itsuki goes around and is looking for gifts. He's buying some idol stuff for Alfie, and then Nar and Shangri-La summon him to the castle, and I was going to say set him down, but he just stands there in the throne room, and they just sort of discuss how to seal up the 13th labyrinth that has appeared. And basically, Itsuki needs to sacrifice himself so that way it can be shut down and then the world can be saved. And so a lot of this episode is just Itsuki down in the dumps because he's gonna have to sacrifice himself. Mana overhears the whole thing and basically ignores it, pretends that she didn't hear it, and just tries to go about business as usual. And then as Itsuki is sort of down, he goes and buys presents for everybody, right? And we get a little montage of here's Itsuki with this girl, and here's the gift that he got her, and here's even this girl, and this what he got. And there's a really silly moment where he goes to Eri, and oh, here's your present. What could it be? Oh, it's a copy of Conception Plus, the game that this anime is promoting. Which was really funny. I thought it was really funny. And so we get a little montage of him giving all the girls gifts. And then we get to Mahiru, who is supposed to be the main girl in this show, or the main girl of this game, who's sort of taking a backseat the whole time. And so he meets up with her, and he gives her a new keychain, like the one that we had seen before, like a handmade Itsuki keychain. And he basically says his goodbyes, and he's like, well, even if something happens to me, I want to make sure you can get home. And then we go back to see Alfie. Alfie, I think I brought this up last video, where I talked about, because I thought we were done with Alfie after the love ritual, but we meet up with Alfie, and we get her backstory about how she is a star child. She's a special star child that basically lost her star child abilities, so she can't go into the dungeon and fight. She can die now, but she was able to grow up. And that's from the game. I remembered that, and so I thought for sure we were just skipping over that part for this show so that it would be found out in the game. But nope, it was here. And then Itsuki gives her present, which is just a bunch of 80s idols from Japan, goods from that era, apparently. And then there's this weird bit where, excuse me, I assume it's a bunch of references to idol stuff that I just don't know, because I don't live in Japan, and I also wasn't alive in the 80s, so even if I was, I probably wouldn't know it. But where it's just, jumping back and forth between her doing different, things. I don't know how to explain it. It's there's one of her in a dress that obviously looks like she's supposed to be an idol, talking about how she's 30 years old. We learned that. How Alfie's the oldest girl here in the show. But then it just keeps jumping between, okay, here's her in, a dress, doing, some singing stuff, and then, here's a new scene that I have no idea what it's referencing, and this, and then just her with a backwards baseball cap. What? I forget exactly what they were saying, but it's like, you gotta do it. you have to do it. And she just, like, swing her arm. And I don't understand any of it. So I'm going to assume it's a bunch of references to Japanese idol stuff that I don't know. And so, alright. He has made up his mind. Itsuki's made up his mind. He's got to do it. He's got to sacrifice himself to save the world, to save everybody. And he tells this to Mana, and then he gives Mana her Christmas gift, which is a lollipop, and then he spends the night with Mana. So, my man slept with a raccoon. This show's silly. And that's sort of it. And, like, it ends with him basically saying, alright, we're going into the dungeon, let's finish this now. And that's the end of episode 11. And then episode 10, I don't have a lot of notes on it, because it's actually just, like, action. We got an actual action-focused episode where Itsuki, along with the Star Children, Mana, and Alfie, goes to the 13th labyrinth. Like, the Star Children and Alfie are hanging out outside, and then Itsuki and Mana are heading in, and Itsuki says, I don't actually want to die, so let's just defeat the 13th boss. Wow, what an idea. And so we get a little fight, and the boss is just like, excuse me, oh my god, excuse me, goodness. Alright, the 13th boss is just like purple smoke. We don't see what it looks like, and I thought for sure we just weren't going to see it. Again, I'm thinking they're going to hold stuff back so people can go get the game and then see it. But that's, nope, we see it later on. But for, like, most of this episode is just, like, a purple fog. And Itsuki tries to attack it, and it fails. And for some reason, he doesn't bring any of the Star Children with him. He's just trying to fight this thing on his own, which I don't know why. But he's trying, and he's failing. And Alfie and the Star Children are hanging out outside. And then we cut back to the castle, where Shangri-La and Nar have all the maidens summoned up so they can perform a ritual to seal Itsuki and seal the 13th. What do they call it? I have it written down somewhere, I think. Like the 13th Phantom. And so the girls are upset, like, oh no, we don't want to sacrifice him. And they start the ritual, and then they bail. And they're like, no, we can't do it. Or, well, Mahiru does. Like, all the other girls seem to be willing. Mahiru stops it and says, no, I'm not gonna just sacrifice him. And then all of a sudden Shangri-La brings up, like, well, okay, yeah, there is another way. If all of you, the Star Maidens, and the Visitor are, like, I forget exactly how he explained it, but it's like, if you're close enough, you can stop it. It's like, dude, why didn't you say that to start with? Like, why couldn't we have spent all this time trying to make sure we were close enough to stop it without sacrificing him? So that was dumb. That was very dumb. So, all the Star Maidens rush out to the fight. Itsuki gets crushed in some rubble, and Mana protects him with, like, a shield. And so all the Star Maidens show up and pray. Like, we've seen this a few times in the show, and they keep reusing the same thing where it's like, oh, Mahiru starts to pray, and then it pulls out, and then it's just all 12 girls praying. And we get to see the Star Children turn into robots, which I completely forgot about. I forgot this was a part of the game until it happened. What was it called in the game? I have it written down. Mech Unite, where, because in the game you set different teams of Star Children. You have Team A, Team B, Team C. And, I think you have 4 Star Children in each. And they confuse to make, like, a robot. And I don't know what decides what kind of robot they make. Like, there's ones with big guns, there's ones with swords. I don't know what dictates that, but because we have 13 Star Children here, we get 3 Mech Unites, who then go to fight the Purple Fog, and they're not doing well. But Itsuki eventually crawls out of the rubble, and is also trying to fight alongside him, and then the 13th Phantom shoots him, and Alfie dives in front and takes the bullet and dies. And, alright, Itsuki's upset, Star Girls are upset, Star Maidens are upset, and they just pray harder, and what happens is something that I don't think actually happens in the game, where Itsuki and the 3 Mech Unites fuse to make one big Mech Unite. to fight the guy. I don't think that's in the game. I don't remember that. Um, so yeah, they've combined, and we still have Alfie Starchild, who hasn't really done much up until this point. But the new fusion is fighting the true form of the 13th Phantom, and it's still not winning. Alfie Starchild decides, alright, I need to get in there and do something, and it transforms into a spear, and then with the 13 Star Children and Itsuki combined into this big robot with a weapon, it defeats the 13th Phantom. And that's it. They win the fight. And Alfie's dead, and the Star Children sacrifice themselves to seal the 13th Phantom. And so all that's left is Itsuki and Mahiru to go home. And we get like this really sad, like it's a little bittersweet, like, oh wow, we lost a lot, but we can finally go, the world is saved. So Mahiru and Itsuki basically sneak away to leave. They don't tell anybody, and then the other Star Maidens show up. And before Mahiru and Itsuki can leave, they decide to come with them. And then as they're falling through the portal to get back to Sora, the real world, Alfie and all the Star Children just appear, and Mana, and just come with him. So just like, I don't know why. Why do the sacrifice thing if you're not going to let them stay dead? Like, I get, this isn't the kind of show where I really want that ending. So like, I'm happy that everything is alright in the end, but like, why do it at all? So anyway, everyone goes to Sora. We get like a 2 or 3 minute scene with them talking. Mana has taken a human form. Alfie and the Star Children are just alive. No explanation. They don't know why. And now they're just going to live in the real world together because the gate closed. So now we have basically, after that's the end. We get the end credits where we have the OP song playing, and we just get another montage of like, all right, here's the girls in the real world with their Star Children. What are they up to? Like, there was Tora, who was running around delivering mail with her Star Child. That's the only one I can think of right off the top of my head. Mirai, she was doing like some science stuff, like with beakers and stuff. Like, who knows what she was actually doing with her Star Child. And like, we just get glimpses of that. We saw like Itsuki and Mahiru going to school and bringing their Star Child with them. So we get a little montage of what everybody's doing. And then we're going to get the big wedding, right? We're going to get a nice harem end here where Itsuki marries all 12 Star Maidens. No, all 13, because Alfie's included. Mana is not for some reason. I don't know why. But we get a nice little wedding, and so if you're like silly harem stuff like I do, like, and you like harem endings, like this is a rare one. So that's nice. And then in the pews of the church where they're getting married, we see Mana, obviously. We see Wake and Fuko, who, for people that don't know, Wake is the main character of Conception 2, and Fuko is is a pink-haired girl who is like the main girl of that game. And then I think Seiya was also there. I don't know how he got there. I don't know why he was there, but he was in the very back. Like, it looked exactly like him. And I looked up a picture of him just to make sure. Like, I've seen him before, but like I didn't recognize the uniform. And in the game, like, he was wearing like the same outfit that he was in the church. So Seiya showed up too, apparently. And that's the show. It was a lot of fun. Is it a good show? Not really. The budget was definitely not there. Everything was rushed or like just sort of skimmed over, or like it's not a high quality show in the writing department or in the animation department, but I have a lot of fun with it. It's fun for me. Like, I like how silly it is. Like, how he woos one of the girls by giving her Stockholm Syndrome. That's silly and fun. The Bachelor parody episode was fun. And then even here at the end where, everybody sacrificed themselves. That's sad. That's a different ending than I was expecting. And then they're just suddenly all alive for no reason. Like, that's fine. I enjoy this show a lot. Is it great? No. Would I recommend it to people? Probably not. I think if you're interested, check out the first couple episodes and see if you're into it. But if you're not willing to watch cheap anime, or just if you're not able to have fun with something that's just silly and maybe not high quality, I don't think you're going to enjoy this. But yeah, that's Conception. I like it a lot. It makes me want to go back and play the game, which hopefully I'll be able to at some point in the future. And hopefully we get more. I do like this franchise a lot. Conception 2 I got at launch, and then played it and platinumed it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I was really excited when this anime got announced at the time, because as soon as the anime got announced, it's like, that means the first game's getting remade, right? And I'll actually be able to play it, hopefully. And it did, and I did get to play it, but I didn't end up playing very far. But yeah, this is a franchise I like. It's not the best. It's got problems, and I can see that, and I know why people wouldn't enjoy it, but for me, it's just a lot of fun. And that's, more than anything, that's what I want out of like anime and games, is just fun. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Conception episodes 11 and 12. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.